Hello. Welcome back to another video. Now, we've had some great football matches today. 5-2 Bayern Munich, Frankfurt. What a game. But now we're going to be taking a look at the two-game selection for tomorrow, which is Koln versus Dusseldorf and RB Leipzig versus Mainz. Let's get straight into it. So hopefully as well with this video, it can sort of give you a hand with the showdown matches as well for these respective games. The prizes in each ones are different. However, the bracketing, as it were, is sort of the same. So as we see here, the first player we come to on the slate is Mark Uth, and on showdown, and this is the most expensive player. So hopefully this video can give you a bit of a hand for both. So let's take a look at the players. So Mark Uth, a player who does get his fair share of set pieces and gets fair share of shots, gets his fair share of goals. As we see here, a player who has an absolutely outstanding floor. Outstanding. I mean, in all of these games, to be fair, he has got a goal return, so that's definitely boosting his stats. But, if a player is getting a goal return in every single game, you've got to think, well, okay, you can't not have the guy, otherwise it would just be another same old week where he does get a return. So he is 10.6k, something to be wary of. However, with that kind of floor, it's hard not to have him. And Kunku is a player who I definitely will be putting in a team, just because he's on the set pieces for Leipzig, and he's got a great floor as well. For a bit cheaper, I feel like this guy's going to be very, very consistent. We saw a performance today from Kimmich where he got sort of 20 odd plus points without even scoring a goal or an assist. That's what I'm mainly looking for, and this guy in Kunku provides that no end. So in Kunku, another one to look at. Timo Werner, now Leipzig away to Mainz, very counter-attacking team, where we can expect to pick up a few goals. Whether he's worth the value, you'd probably need to see him be scoring at least a brace or getting a goal and assist for him to be sort of worth that kind of value. He does pop up with a lot of shots, which does really help his floor. But for 9,600, one to consider. But I think I'll be going with either or, and if I was going to choose between these two, I think Nkunku would just pip it. Werner does obviously have that. He has that bigger, higher end because he's more likely to score. So if he comes in with the brace, obviously he'll have more points than Nkunku and be more worth it. So one to consider there. Maybe I'll put one in one team, one in the other, and we'll go from there. So Schick, another forward to look out for Leipzig. The only thing I'd say here is, with the facts that you've only got Werner and Nkunku being a little more expensive, it's probably just not worth going for Schick at this sort of a price bracket when there are players who are cheaper. So if we continue to look down the slope, you get to a player like Sabitzer, another great player for Leipzig. Also someone around that sort of 8,600 mark. He's a good option, gets a few goals here and there. But I feel like for me, someone like Keynes is a very good option for this kind of price. We see him coming in with a pretty decent floor. He did score last weekend, so we got an 18.5. We see here he can very easily come up with a game that's sort of a 12.6 without even getting a goal or an assist. And we see him getting plenty of crosses every game. He's the main set piece taker and really gets himself on the set pieces, and he gets some really good balls in. So definitely a nice player for 8,400. Definitely someone who I'm going to build a team around, or put into a team as I should say. Cordoba, another very nice player. He's sort of, along with Mark Uth here, is one of Cologne's he's one of Cologne's more attacking options. He gets far forward and really has a high potential of scoring. So I do really like him for 8,000. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people on Uth. Maybe this guy could be slept on a little bit and he could easily pop up with a goal or two. Angelino, someone I like as well. He gets plenty of crosses in, is on the set pieces for Leipzig as well as Nkunku. So maybe if you want a bit of a slice of Leipzig set pieces, Angelino is definitely someone to look at. Paulson as well. If he gets a start in, that would be quite a nice option. just because for 7,400 you get an attacking player for Leipzig. He did score last week, and so the likelihood is if he gets a goal again, he'll get a sort of 14, 15 pointer. He's not someone with a great floor, so that is definitely something to consider. But if he does score as well, it will definitely shoot you up those leaderboards. Someone else to mention as well for Mainz is Quaison, a very nice attacking player. He's sort of one of the main threats going forward. But the thing is, against Leipzig, they've not, as we showed last week, they've got a solid and leaky defence, if you kind of get what I mean. Sometimes they can be very good, sometimes they'll let the goals through. And because they're mainly a counter-attacking team as well, we don't expect Mainz not to have opportunities. So maybe a Mainz attacker for this kind of price range is not too bad of an option. Now we go a little bit further down and we get to the Dusseldorf players. Stoger here gets plenty of crosses, has his fair share of set pieces, so definitely someone to look out for. And to get a set piece taker who's a midfielder and around 6,100, I'd say that's pretty much a bargain. You're not really going to get set pieces or set piece takers for much cheaper than this. Then we scroll down and we get to our first goalkeeper on the slate, and here, let's just take a look at the goalkeepers quickly. We've got Gulaski, Timo Horn, the main guy, and I think Kasteimer, and it seems like Stefan's out. So I just have to wonder who's going to play for Dusseldorf. But really this week, it's a choice between the two favourites, so the Leipzig goalkeeper or the Koln goalkeeper, or you go for the Dusseldorf or the Mainz goalkeeper. I'm tempted by the Dusseldorf goalkeeper or the Cologne goalkeeper. I'm thinking I'm going to steer away from the Leipzig or Mainz, because I feel like this game could easily be a sort of 3-1 Mainz Pippa goal, which you get the win points for Gulaski, but playing 5,800 for, I would say, is not a guaranteed clean sheet. Whereas Timo Horn, they've not got a bad defensive record. I back Cologne here to potentially keep a clean sheet. And also Cologne are favourites to win this game. So at least, if you don't get the clean sheet, you'll get the win. It is, I must say, only 400 more for Gulaski. So, good to consider them. Or to consider the Dusseldorf keeper here, as Cologne probably won't be scoring too many goals in that regard. Maybe if they get a 1 or 2, but the Dusseldorf goalkeeper is definitely likely to receive quite a few shots. Now, if we go back to where we were, we scroll a little bit further down and we have a look at this guy, Brzezinski. Now, he's a player who I do really like the look of. Obviously, he's not played since he played on the 23rd of February away to Wolfsburg. So clearly this guy's been out for a while, but he's just a player definitely to look out for. You've always got to keep your eye out for these players, because if he's someone who can bring in 11 or 9 crosses a game, you've really got to be having them in your team. But yeah, just someone of note. This guy Boatis, I really did like the look of him last weekend. He was getting forward, getting plenty of shots at. He didn't only get 5 points, but I think that was more because of the fouls conceded. Otherwise, and the yellow card I think he got. Otherwise, he would have been a lot higher in points. And 5,300, I think that's very good value for a player who's going to attack quite a lot and potentially have quite a bit of the ball, because Leipzig are a counter-attacking team. We scroll down a little bit more, and this guy, Martin, is someone that cannot be slept on. He's a defender. He was criminally underowned last weekend, and I mean, just as we see, he took all of the set pieces for Mainz last week, and he came up with 16 crosses, 11.6 points, with a yellow card included in that. So yeah, I mean, this guy's a must-have. 5.2k, but for a defender who's going to be on crosses, on set pieces even, he's got to be in the team straight away. This guy Hector, I made a note that I really did like the way this guy looked. Someone to consider. He just seemed to be getting forward a lot in some very attacking positions, and as we're seeing here, he's getting the shots assisted, the shot on goals, which could really help. And with the potential this or tomorrow, I should say, of getting a clean sheet against Dusseldorf, I do quite like the idea of backing a few of the Cologne defenders for that extra 3-point boost at the end of the game. Now let's go down a little bit more. We get to this guy Zimmerman. I do like the look of Zimmerman as well, although just below him we have Holstenberg, and I mean, for 4,600, Holstenberg for me, absolute bargain, a player who's sort of going to get you 6 or 7 points every game. So we're hopefully looking for a little bit higher than that. We're looking for maybe a 9-pointer from him, 2 points per million. That would be wonderful. He gets down that wing, gets some crosses in, and with a high potential of a clean sheet or a decent potential, as I've said, of getting a clean sheet against Mainz. Hulsenberg is definitely someone I'd be looking at. And we scroll down a bit more, and we're really getting into that sort of filler zone, as I've said before. No one below 4K. It's very rare that you find someone below 4K who's really going to be that gem and going to get you loads and loads of points per game. More likely, it's just a bit of a lottery to what player has a good game, because you'll see the averages where a player will go, 1.2 point per game, then have an 8-point game, and then it'll be 1.2 point, 1.2 point. So really, in that sense, with your filler, you just got to get a bit lucky. Katterback, someone definitely look out for. I actually put him. He's actually in my Bundesliga fantasy that I started. But as you see here, he's a player who's going to get you 3 or 4 points a game. Nothing too special. 4,000, maybe a little bit expensive on that side. I do like the idea of someone like Upamenko, with the potential of a clean sheet there as well, or just any of the Koln defenders who could potentially have a good game and get those sort of three clean sheet points. Really, that's what I'm looking for when I'm looking for sort of like a 3,000 player. No midfielders or forwards for 3 to 4K are really ever going to do anything. It's mainly defenders at this sort of price range. So if you can find someone who starts for Cologne, maybe this guy will, I'm not sure. I don't think he is a starter actually for Cologne. But if you can find someone for either Cologne or Leipzig who's a starting player for this kind of range, he'll get maybe 2 or 3 points in the game just from tackles won, and they get 3 points from the clean sheet. That could really help you out in terms of the points. So let's just take a quick look and see what sort of a team we can build. Now, I said before I'd like to get Nkunku in a team. Although I really would like to get Nkunku, I've sort of almost convinced myself here that Angelino for 2,000 left is probably actually the better option. I think Keynes for me has got to go in there. He's going to be taking all of the set pieces. He'll be on everything. Great option for me. Now I want to get this guy in there straight away, Mr. Martin. Obviously, we'll be looking at Brzezinski if he is playing, but I'm going to assume he's not playing because he hasn't played since February. I just sort of wanted to mention him as if he does play, not someone you want to miss out on. I'm going to lob in Hector as well there, and I think for our utility player, we're going to lob in Hulsenberg. Nice, I like to keep it cheap with my utility player. Allows me to build a better team up front. Now, the big decision here would be, do we save 1,300 or do we splash the cash to potentially get the winning clean sheet points? What I'm going to do first is have a look at the forward spots. So we've got 19,000 left, which isn't a great deal, which means we'll probably only be able to get one premium player and probably someone a bit cheaper as well. I do like the look of Boatus, and it's very tough one, but I think I'm going to go with Boatus, someone who's proven that he can cause a lot of damage up front. The thing is, as I was saying, I do think between these two, this guy is the better floor pick, but this guy definitely has a much higher ceiling, Timo Werner, compared to Nkunku. I think I do like the idea of Timo Werner just being able to go and bang in a brace, but the only problem with that is with a goalkeeper, it leaves us 100 off actually the Dusseldorf goalkeeper, which would have been ideal because it seems as though this guy Kastemeyer has been starting. But yeah, I guess this for me is sort of a rough idea of what's kind of direction I take with my team. Maybe you could go a bit cheaper in Timo Werner, get a more expensive goalkeeper, or maybe drop Hector down to a 4,000 defender. But yeah, this is just sort of my main ideas for the 2-game kickoff. Obviously, as always, your team really should be built around set piece takers, which is why we like having Angelino in there, we like having Keynes in there, Martin in there. I feel like Martin, maybe Angelino or Keynes, or possibly Nkunku, really have to be the players you have to build your team around. And also someone like Uth, I'll definitely be putting him in because he's a player who can easily go and get 20 or 30 points, even though he is that expensive. If he gets 25 points, well worth the money. and you'll be left well behind if he's high ownership and does get that level of points. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little review. Hopefully this helped you a bit for the showdown teams as well, because I've worked through some of the set piece takers who really you should be building a team around in the showdown. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this video, and I'll see you soon.